Hallöchen everybody, it's me again, Rafi. Today I would like to show you our beautiful CRJ version 2. I don't know which version is actually, but one of 2 etc. And yeah, we're going to fly the aircraft today from Berlin to Düsseldorf. First things first, this is not a tutorial at all. It's not to tell you how to fly aircraft correctly, because I'm not a real pilot. There are a lot of real pilots out there who are doing really nice videos about the CRJ and other aircraft. They can tell you more about that. It's just basically, let's say, a little showcase, a normal flight from A to B in this series. And yeah, I would like to show you how the aircraft operates basically on a normal flight with my, let's say, limited flight simulator skills. Probably you guys know it already from different streams I did there. If you like this kind of series, let me know down in the comments below. And first things first, hit the like button. We appreciate that. And if you did not do that before, make sure you're follow us. No, not follow. What's the name of not follow? How it's called? Yeah. Whatever. Just, you know what I mean. Follow the YouTube channel. Leave us whatever. Anyways, we will start. I should start flying and not talking about the aircraft. So basically, if you like the series, I will find out what I wanted to tell you. But anyways, if you like the series, we will split the series. So this will be about preparation on the ground, taxiing and takeoff. There will be the second part, which we will then go into landing in Düsseldorf. And if you like this kind of series, I could show you other aircraft, like for example the FSS 727 passenger version, which is basically planned already, so you will have to see that. But after that, you can decide if you would like to have more of these or not. Of course, we are kind of, let's say, limited. It's not limited, but yeah, it makes more sense from our perspective to show you Aerosoft products. That needs to be not directly Aerosoft product, because FSS is not an Aerosoft product at all. But yeah, products we sell on our shop, so that's maybe the kind of limitation we have. But we have a lot of small aircraft, etc. So there's many things to show. Anyways, so we are here in Berlin, as I said, and yeah, the aircraft is ready basically to be prepared. It's on cold and dark state. And I made a sim brief planning where I have all the data needed for sim brief. So I left you here with the data here in the flight simulator, and you will have all the time my mouse available. That's on purpose, because then you can see basically where we are going to do this flight and what I'm pushing and clicking during the flight. All right, so let's jump into the aircraft and let's do all the preparations. I have my custom views pre-selected here. Basically, that's what I did with basic standard MSFS settings. First things first, we start up the tablet here on the left-hand side, and then you can see, here all the checklists which we have here, and we will go through them. Maybe not the organizing, but yeah, we will skip through them. Then you can see what to click and where is the button and how to operate the aircraft. Then our flight plan. I will hit import flight plan, and that's what we made planning, as I said, in SimBrief already. So that's prepared, and we set the payload. So then the aircraft is already loaded, right? So that's the buttons we need to click. You can even click here on view OFP. Okay, that's not working right now. Scheiße. Maybe we have to start up the aircraft itself. We will find out later on. Okay. That's a little bit different here. I don't know. Anyways, let's go and start the aircraft. So first things first, we go on aircraft and we connect the ground power, because that's important in terms of to have power on the ground. You see that also if you connect it. Unfortunately, it's not animated right now, but you see the hatches open here, which means that we can, or the power is connected, and we can see that as well. If we go up here, we see AC is available. So that's the way we know, okay, there's a power on the aircraft. Right, so let's start battery power, and I connect directly the AC or the external power. So then everything is connected, and we do our pre-checks. As I said, it's maybe not 100% correct everything, but I will go through memory I have. And yeah, you can use that as a guide or reference, or as a comment reason, and to tell me what I'm doing wrong. It's also fine. So it's up to you, right? Okay, so we are going through all the buttons we need. So we leave this off. That's good. We switch nav on. Logo, we don't need anything. Boost pump, stay off. Speed and normal, that's all as it is. APU, we will start in a few minutes. Hydraulics, we will leave as they are. Air conditioning is not needed right now. And anti-ice also not. And we have here the dome light and all the other stuff. And then we go here, lower down, landing lights off. The L is armed, passenger side seatbelt is armed, okay, and the emergency lights, we will arm them, that's important. And no smoking goes on auto, and seatbelts goes on, right? So we're prepared for the passengers. So next thing what we can do is close the doors, which means the passenger door and cargo doors. So then GSX can start loading all the stuff in, which is needed here. So you can see they connect now. Now here's also the flight attendant, and we start boarding. So that's just a GSX feature. It's not included in the aircraft, but it's nice to showcase here, right? Okay, perfect. So we go through the aircraft with a scan. That means we go here on the lower left. You can, by the way, hide the yoke if you click here on the speed limit decal. So then it goes a little bit lower and upper. That's nice because then you have, yeah, nothing blocking your view on this here. Nosy steering stays off, that's fine. That's all my, let's say, EFIS settings for PFD and the ND. So we leave it as it is. We need no lighting because it's a daylight flight. So I'm also happy with that. And we continue with the MCP. That's, let's say, basically everything off because we don't need that right now. Center panel and this kit is armed. We leave all the other stuff like it is. You see my... Perfect, now it's fine. My spoiler lever was due to my hardware here a little bit wobbly. So anyway, so we continue this here. That's all off. Okay, perfect. And we go down here. So we make the scan on the left hand side. That's the radio panel. We leave it as it is. We are flying basically today offline for a reason, because I would like to concentrate on this video and not be disturbed or distracted by ATC, because I would like to focus on this. So that's the radio panel where you set basically all the audio. You can tune up, tune down, etc. Then we have here our weather panel set, which stays now and off, which is good. Then our comm panel, which is basically our, I think this is the standby comm, because you do basically most of the stuff here, but yeah, we will go through that. Steptrim, MacTrim, okay. And then our IRS switches, we can switch them already on enough, so the aircraft can initialize, even it's very fast. Then we have here our selectors for, let's say, the display here. I think it's called the, I don't know what the name actually is, but I would call them MFDs or CAS displays, where you can see all the stuff around. Then again, lighting, trim, by the way, lighting, yaw damper, and yeah, then you have some alternate data and display conditions, etc., etc. So you can select from left and right. And basically, you can select the desired system. And then on the right-hand side, you see basically the same stuff here on the co-pilot. And one thing we have here is basically, we will not use it today, but we have here, hang on. Where do I put that down? Here it is. I have an head-up display here in the aircraft. So you can see there's already stuff shown on that, right? And you can control the stuff, what you will see on the head-up display here with this little instrument. So as I said, we won't use that today, but yeah, you can use that if you would like to do so, right? Perfect. So first things first, we initialize the aircraft. So we go through the FMS, put all the data in, and thereafter we will go with the checklist. And now I can see the aircraft is powered up. So now I can set the payload in the aircraft, and I most probably can see also here my OFP. Okay, so that's not a bug. It's probably a feature. I will call it this way. Let's say this way. And yeah, you can even use it here. I have it printed or as an extra document on a second screen, but yeah, basically you did import, and then it takes some time to initialize, and then you send it to the flight simulator. So the payload is done. We will confirm that in a few seconds anyways. And you can use even send to FMS. That means that you don't need to put all the data into the FMS, because you can use that automatically from yeah, the import function, which is cool because then you have everything here in. But we will do it today manually, just to show you what buttons you can, or you should, or whatever you would like to call it, click to keep it working properly, right? Okay, perfect. So I see the, there it is. Okay, that's a little bit unfortunate, the viewpoint I set it up here. Ah, now it's working. Okay, good. All right, so initial position. So we go and posit in it, and then we take here the FMS position. We can double check that with the GPS. We see all the positions are the same, so that's good. So we can use this one and enter it in here. So the initialization is done. So the aircraft knows basically its position, where it is placed. We go into flight plan, and then we enter all the data we have. So we're departing in Berlin, which is Echo Delta Delta Bravo. and we're flying to Düsseldorf, which is Echo Delta Delta Lima. Yeah. Bear in mind, my last flight with this aircraft is a while ago, so maybe I will not do anything, or most probably anything, but not everything correct. So yeah, that's just an information to you. If you see I made some mistakes here, just let me know down in the comments, and yeah, I will know it better next time. Okay, so we switch. I do it always this way, next to departure. So our planned departure runway is today runway 06 right in Berlin. So we selected, and the departure route is Sukip 3 Zulu. So we go until we see Sukip 3 Zulu. There it is. And I will enter that into the flight plan. And then you see, okay, via Sukip. And there we go. Right, so out of Sukip, we follow then basically Airways, which is in this case Yankee 206. And we continue from Yankee 206 to Burel. So we enter that. Burel. Then we follow Papa 203 to Hotel Lima Zulu, which is Hotel Lima Zulu. There you go. Then after we are going via Lima 980. So these on the left hand side are the airways, and on the right hand side, you probably all know, are the waypoints or NDBs or VORs, where we leave the airway and go into another one. Thereafter we fly direct out of Sierra Alpha Sierra to Pirate. And from there on we fly via the Tango 8521. So we join again an airway to Halme, which is Hotel Alpha Lima Mike Echo. There you go. And we enter that. And that's perfect. So our routing is here complete. The only thing we are missing now is the arrival runway, but we will do that later on. I mean, we could do it right now, but I would prefer to do it later on during the flight, because once we have some changes in the runway, depending on ATC, then we can, change it. So that's the thing. So we go back on the first page, and then only thing we are missing here is our call sign we need to enter, which is Lufthansa 52. It's just a random call sign. Lufthansa is not flying this route in real life. I know that, but actually, I wanted to fly because I like these two airports, so that's the reason why I'm doing that. And Frankfurt is our alternate, so we entered it here as well. So we have, in terms of routing-wise, everything is entered. So I click now and execute, and now the aircraft you see draws here the route on the nav display, and we will go anyway in a few minutes through all of that. But yeah, the routing is more or less completed. Perfect. So next we go through all the points we have here. So messages, obviously, we don't have here anything. That's if I want to fly in direct, not needed now. Here I see the flight plan. If you go one below, it's the legs page. So I see all the legs during the flight we are going to fly today, with no VNAV data because there's nothing entered already. So we will do that. Fixed page, don't need that. Index, we can see basically, an overview, let's say, and go through all the systems. Radio, we can even control the radio panel here, which I like, by the way, because, I mean, you can do that here, but it's a little bit flimsy if you want to switch the frequency. So you need to click on that and turn, like you know from other aircraft, which is cool here, because if you get on frequency, like, I don't know, 120 or 121 point, whatever, 6 or 750, so you hit it in here, and then you can just click on this, and then you switch. Oh, sorry, that was wrong. Need to delete that. My viewpoint is really off here. So I select it, and I can hit it on the top, or I can go, I think, even straight on the top, which is pretty cool. Yeah. So if you have frequency change, especially if you're flying on VATSIM or Ivao or Postcon or whatever network online, that's cool, because then you just basically during the readback, if you get a frequency, you click it here, or if you hear it from the ATC, you can enter it here, boom, and then you are straight into the right frequency, right? So Squawk is 1000. That's a common thing in Germany if you fly, and we leave COM2 on 1 to 1.5, which is an emergency or guard frequency. So everything is set up as it should be here. That's perfect. We can switch on the second page just to make sure we don't forget anything, which is basically here COM3 and my flight ID. I don't know if this is working. Let's say Lufthansa 52. Ah, it's even working nice. So that's for the ATC. I don't know if you put there in your Lufthansa or your call sign. So that means your flight number or your ATC. We put an ATC because it makes more maybe sense. But yeah, that's nice to know. Basically, I have even no idea if that's used in real life and what the function here is. I have a good friend. He's a CRJ first officer? Maybe I should ask him. But anyways, so that's the radio page. Then we have here the progress page. So you see all the data, estimate time and en route. So when we will be where, that's important for later on. And performance setups, we'll go through that in a few seconds. MFD data, so you see here on the top, the MFD is changing. MFD menu, so I can even go here through the menu. We will do that later on, and MFD advanced, right? So here you can switch basically and see the flight plan on the top. Right, so go on the performance initialization. So that's what we do now with the weights, which is important during a flight. You all know it. So basically we add what we have on board as passengers, as yeah, all the data we need. So let me see. Whoops. Disagree. That was my fault. Anyways, okay, so we have a payload total of 7.7 tons. So we have a zero fuel weight of hang on, we need to go there. Yeah, perfectly. We have 72 passengers. We enter that. And then we need to double check, because if I cleared it again with the 0, for example, 72. Whoops, that was one too much. 72, there you go. Then we enter the cargo. So we have cargo 1.633 tons. So we enter that. And our planned cruising level is today flight level 340. Enter that as well. And then we enter our zero fuel weight. And then it should be automatically done by the system. It adds then these weights and we'll calculate ourselves a gross weight. So, hang on, I was wrong here. 1633, sorry, I was talking. Now you see it, it's calculated automatically. The fuel is obviously wrong, so we need to correct that as well. So block fuel is 4 tons today. It's actually 40, so if you go this way correctly. So now it calculates automatically. And now I can double check with my planning if the zero fuel weight and the gross weight fits to my calculations or my entering, what I did here. So our estimated zero fuel weight should be 29787 according to the OFP, which you see it's perfectly here. And our gross weight, which is not exactly our takeoff weight, because it's our gross weight is our takeoff weight plus taxi fuel, right? So our estimated takeoff weight is 33 tons, 0.630, which is, let's say, easy 200 kilograms less than this. And our taxi fuel was around 200 kilograms. So this is also perfect. So I can see, okay, all the weights are great and are in the limits where they should be. So that's perfect. So we go on the next page. We can enter here now if we have the data like wind, climb, etc. Data, ISA deviation, etc., etc. I will leave that as it is, but you can enter here, like if you have a cruise wind, for example, an average, then you can enter that here for all this, yeah, stuff you need. Then we go on the next page where you see estimated time departure. So if I say, for example, what time we have right now in the sim, it's 8:02. Let's say we depart at 8:25. If I enter that here, so then I see when I arrive at which time usually. Okay, I see here estimate time of departure. That's maybe a bug. Let's see if I correct that. I'm not sure if I'm right here. Anyways, we leave it as it is. So we have just keep an item if you don't know what you're talking about. That's maybe the best way to go. So reserves, we have final and alternate, which is 970 plus 750, let's say. So that's 1 point, to make it easy, 7 tons. So we enter that, 1,700 on top here. And our taxi fuel, as I said, it was around about 200 kilograms. It's exactly 227. So 227. We enter that as well here. And then we have execute and everything is set up. So if we go now in the progress page, for example, you see now here the data, you see the fuel we will use, the time we will have there, where we will be. Now I see the time here perfectly. So 44 minutes. And if I go on the next page, for example, then I even see the altitudes and yeah, when we will be, where, at which position, right? So in terms of altitude. Perfect. So that's with the preparation is done. So next things next, we're going through the first checklist, and after that we start basically takeoff performance calculation, and then starting up the aircraft pushback, and yeah, basically off we go, right? So probably you found already some mistakes I made, for sure, yeah. But yeah, at the end of the day, I hope more or less it shows only a normal flight from A to B. And the fun things or the nice thing is in flight simulation that everybody does it his way. This is my way, so let's go. Okay, we will just double check if everything is here as we expected. So zero fuel weight is 29 point. Let's go on the top part here again. I see the number 29.787. It says where it is the actual zero fuel weight. Here we go. 29. It's even a little bit less. So switch to zero fuel weight. We go like this. 29. That's not a little bit correct. So we correct this number. So it should be 29. So make sure to always check this, because I mean there is always a little kind of deviation even in a real aircraft, because you never know how many people will join you at the flight deck. So maybe this is a kind of, let's say, feature here. But yeah, I will make sure that the numbers are today all correct. So we now see today's fuel, which is 4070. That's perfect. So payload 7674. That's fine. So our gross weight, for example, right now is 33857. That's also correct. And if you go minus 200 kilo, then we are at 336, which we should be around about with the taxi fuel. That's perfect. Okay, set payload in simulator. So we hit this button. I always click spam that just to make sure. Yeah. And that's fine. And what I do, initial fuel from simulator, just to make sure. Okay, you see it changed a little bit the data, but it's in the limits, let's say 300 kilo plus minus. It's more or less normal, right? So takeoff speeds. So we have some calculation here. I go here in this one because this makes it a little bit. That's a new feature, by the way, because you can set this here. That's what you have, or what we are used to it from version 1.0. In version 2, you have this, let's say, a little bit more detailed data. So we go here into Berlin. Oops, Echo Delta Delta Bravo. I need to enter. Okay. Runway 06 right, I said. Condition is dry. Refresh meta. We can do that anyways. But we have perfect wind condition today. That's landing distance. Good morning. Takeoff data. Here we are. Sorry. You should better read. So we are here on the lower level. That's for later on. Takeoff data, okay. And that's provided, you see it already here by SimBrief, okay? So you make sure in SimBrief, if you do your flight planning, you can, and it's kind of in the mid sector where you can see the OFP layout, etc. And there you have to make sure that you can select some stuff like, hang on, I will show you that in a second. There you go. So make sure these are selected, and here runway analysis. This is important, right? So this needs to be on. Then you have the data basically here in your flight simulator. And you see Berlin, runway 06 right, 4,000 meters, flaps 8, it says. Okay, engine bleed on. All right, that's perfect. Anti-ice off, we don't need that. Flags, temperature is 48 degrees, and wind is more or less no. Okay, so that's the data we need for, let's say, the calculation, which basically is done here by SimBrief, and this is resulting into this, at the end of the day, into these speeds here, right? So if you compare that, or if I compare that, and if I go into my briefing and scroll to the specific page where it says takeoff data and calculation for runway 06 right, that's perfect. And then if I continue scrolling down, it's somewhere on, hang on. I need to find it. Where is it? In the OFP. There you see all the, I have gone through that a few minutes ago. Now I'm obviously looking for it. Where is it? Where is it? There you have it. Dispatch condition. Crew alert. No terms. I think it's below. Hang on. There you go. Perfect. So I see, what I see now is takeoff data for runway 06 and all the, let's say, information we need in terms of V1, VR, we rotate. So it says to me, I mean, basically you have to bring it in here. I will show you that here. You can see that here. Make it a little bit bigger so you can see it maybe better than. So don't be confused, by the way, if you see this here, because that's the one is missing here. That's on purpose. So it's 143, 143, 151. Okay, so we have here runway 06, basically. Then you have calm wind, which is plus takeoff weight. But basically, you see the speeds are everything the same because the runway is very long. So we have 143, 143, 151. Okay, so what we're going to do is we select it here. So we set all of these, and then we need to change it manually. So we can set all. And now if we go here, you see they are here set it, right? And we can change them, okay? So we click push. Oops, that was wrong. What was the VT? 199. Perfect, then we select. How was it working? V speeds, there you go. V1, we set 143. So you add this, 143. Perfect. VR was 143 as well, so we add this as well. V2 was 151, so it goes 1 minus. And yeah, that's what we leave here. So now we have it corrected. So that means this V speeds are as they should be. I mean, that's not a big deviation, but it is there. And the V2 plus 10, which is 161, should be there, but we leave it as it is. I mean, I think we are able to select it here. No, that's not okay. So we leave it as it is, right? So perfect. So now we have also the V speeds calculated. So I'm happy with that. So I will start now the APU just to make sure the APU is starting properly. And we see APU doors open. There it is. It's running up. And we do the first checklist, right? So checklist first. Oxygen and masks are checked. Audio warning panel is selected. Electrical panel is checked. Fire detection is done. External lights are on. Fuel panel is checked. Bleed air panel is checked as well. We leave it as it is on normal. That's perfect. APU panel, it's on. We just started the panel. Sorry, the APU start panel is off. So we have everything here as it should be. Then we go with the hydraulics checked auto on. So that means we switch the hydraulic pump. I think it's 3B on. It's one of these. I don't know actually which one is, but I think we can switch this one on. Maybe that's wrong. Anyways, that's the CRJ. It doesn't fall apart. That's a good thing if you do something wrong. Right. So we go continue on this. Is cabin pressure panel is checked. By the way, we need to set up the landing altitude. There's a little trick where you can do that. I will show you it right now. So basically what you see here is landing elevation, which is 0 right now. Okay, perfect. And to set it up, it's this button here on the top, right? Landing elevation, it says here. So if you now manipulate that, you don't see anything what you're doing there, right? But there's a trick. If you click... Oh, I don't have this button, by the way. I don't have an Alt-R I see right now. So I cannot show you the trick. But usually you can pop out one of these screens here, and then you have it on big, but my keyboard doesn't have this button because I have a small keyboard. So there's another way to go, and that's what I'm doing also from time to time, is like going in this view, zoom a little bit in. So you see now the landing elevation. And in the OFP it says on the top right side the landing elevation, which is on destination today for Düsseldorf, hang on, 147. So we just, oops, that's now in our way. Let's do this. Okay, and now we added it, and here you see the number is rising up, right? So we do 150 there. Okay, which is 140, then it's closer, that's 20s. Then it's perfect, right? Yeah, we leave it as it is. Okay, landing elevation is set up. Perfect. So we continue. Cabin pressure panel, okay. Air conditioning panel is checked. Anti-ice panel is checked. Windshield heat, we go on low. All right, so we switch these two on low. That's why we are having a checklist. Emergency lights armed. This one, the ELT lights, and the arm emergency lights are here. I don't know which was mentioned here. Was emergency lights. ELT was one way above, right? Standby compass checked. Nose wheel steering is off, which is here the case. Instruments chocks are set. Sorry, instrument panels checked. Upper pedestal is checked. Thrust levels, quadrant is checked. Avionics are checked. Yaw damper engaged. So we engage it right now, which is here. We click both of them, and the message should disappear here. We will double check that later. And so selector panel is on normal. Perfect. So the orientation checklist originating checklist, sorry, is complete. The next will be the before start checklist. So we can engage all this thing here. So we have that all set up. So we check the APU. APU is online with 100%. That's perfect. So in this case, we can disconnect the ground power. Whoops. It's now disconnected. It shows still available. I mean, it was already disconnected automatically by the system because it was before in use. But now if you see, if I bring or pull the switch basically out, then it's basically away. So we can go here, aircraft, and we can disconnect the ground power at the end and close all the doors. So we close all the doors. You see everything is going in. And oops, that was the center cargo, sorry. So you see, by the way, in the background, a nice feature, which is the cabin. You can deselect it if you don't like that. It's somewhere here in the settings. So if you don't like to that cabin announcement, there it is in flight attendant, you can remove it. But I like it because it's cool to have it, right? So okay, so everything is closed. So I make sure the parking brake is set. Hang on. Yeah, it is set. So you can basically see it here. Perfect. So I can remove even the chocks. So everything is done. We continue the checklist in a few seconds. And we request GSX in terms of pushback. So then everything is, yeah, going flawlessly and starting with the progress, right? So perfect. So I think I made everything what is needed here, but yeah, we go to the checklist and we will see. So passenger signs on. Now we do check everything, which is the case. It's on. By the way, you see it even in the cabin. We'll go through that later on. Landing elevation is set. We set it 160 or 140. In this case, we took 140. Altimeters we did not set. I cheat here a little bit. I hit the B button, but it's QNH 1013. Let me double check that. If it's true or not. In Berlin, we have right now QNH. Hang on.
Departure checks completed. Bypass pin inserted.
QNH of 1020. Okay, so then we go through that. So basically you go here into this panel and then you can see a barrel, and if I manipulate that, we go up to 1020. So that's selected. And just make sure it's on the right side as well. 1020. And even on the standby, hang on, I need to change this here. There was something, an option somewhere, I think. I can link them, by the way. So if I link them now, so I can do now my, you see it, it's now linked. But, there is it on top, sorry, QNH 1020. Yeah. So if I change it now here, facing south, I don't know which one. Hang on. That was a little bit too fast to me. So we're going to facing south on Victor 2. All right.
Release parking brakes.
Okay, perfect. So then that's pre-selected. So if I now change here the barrel, for example, to whatever, you see it's also done here and also done there. So you don't need to do that 3 times. Perfect. So we leave on 1020. So we continue the checklist. And FMS is set. Select. NAV is aligned. So the IRS. Radius and nav heights are set. Takeoff briefing is complete. Of course, we did a takeoff briefing. Okay, so we're clear to start. So we doing the next checklist. Personal electric devices are off, obviously. Then we go through the APU, which is obviously on because it's running. Perfect. Then we go electronics checked. Takeoff data is set. We did that with the takeoff performance, etc. Doors are closed. Yeah, we look on the ECAS. Everything should be fine here. We don't have a message telling us it's something open. So that's great. Next thing is a beacon. So we switch that on. That's good. Fuel pumps and quantity. So we switch on the... Oops, I don't want to go into the weather panel. Need to change my viewpoint. I'm really looking forward to flow. By the way, parallel 42. Where is flow? Anyway, fuel pumps goes on. That's perfect. And yeah, hydraulic pumps auto on, so that should be the case. Now I was pretty early later on, so it should be as it is now on auto. I mean, that's a kind of operational stuff. I know that some airlines are doing this before, later, whatever. I do it right now like this. It is. So be clear to start checklist complete, so we can release the parking brake. Perfect.
Push. All engines
And we can
clear.
switch this one as
Sound
well.
active.
That should be perfect here. Okay, I just quickly decided that was so much information, so we split this video even in 3 parts. So this was part number 1, which was basically aircraft preparation, doing all this stuff. And in the next part, we step in with the pushback and yeah, taxi basically, which is not so interesting, but then comes the highlights, which is takeoff and landing. That's gonna be in part 2. And yeah, maybe we will go even within part 3 where you can see yeah, basically the cabin, etc. So we will show that. So we will see how many parts we will have. So make sure to like and now it is subscribe. That was the word I was looking for. And yeah, if you are not yet on our Discord channel, link down below in the Discord channel, go and check it out. There's a cool community. You will find nice guys there. So see you there and see you next part number 2. Bye bye.